line of the pits is our second pit reporter, and that is Dave Reef, who has a comment on number 51.
To say that Paul Durand has been on a dry spell wouldn't be too far off. He does have a Copper World Classic Championship under his belt, but you have to go all the way back to 1986 to find that super modified win. He made his first IRL start at the Indianapolis 500 last May, and in last year's Copper Classic, raced from 23rd to 8th. If he gets that kind of momentum today, he could be tough. After all, he starts 9th.
All right, Dave, thanks. And Durant definitely one to keep an eye on. You know, putting these machines together takes a lot of ingenuity, especially when you go to plumb the machine. Steve took a look at it earlier.
If you're courageous enough to lay a racing engine on its side, like they do in most of the super modified cars, you better be ready to buy a lot of tubing and hoses, because you're going to do some plumbing for both coolant and oil. Take a look at this mess. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 coolant return lines to the radiator. It gets cooled off, comes back through 2 or 3 more into different parts of the engine. Now, oil, same situation. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It scavenges oil from all over the motor, puts it back into different locations. The thing is, once you tip a motor off of plumb, the fluids run to one side or the other, and you got to compensate for it. It's expensive, a lot of work. Call Josephine the plumber.
It's just absolutely crazy how these guys wire these things up. There's Stan Fox, former competitor at the Indy 500, 3-time Copper World Midget winner in the pace car here today.
Rebel Jackson, we talked about within striking distance in that second row. Davey Hamilton, oh man, I would bet against him anytime he comes to Phoenix.
Davey Hamilton, by far one of the best from the West. Pat Abel, you see there, one of the best from the East.
You know, this is the only racing series I can think of, Ralph, Brown Racing Series, that relies primarily on big block motors, the giant Rodeck engines. In fact, there is a drag racing style Keith Black block in the number 3C car, Rex Beach, and he's starting 10th, the monster.
Not bad. Rex coming back after taking a bit of a layoff, getting back into the super modified racing scene as we work our way through the rest of the field. And this is one of the biggest fields of super modifieds we've ever seen here in the Copper World. WSMRA now taking over the sanctioning of the modified portion of the Copper World, and it's really helped increase the size of the field.
And you saw starting back in row number 14, 7S, that is Stephanie Gallegos. Here we come. Hold your breath. Oh, baby. Somehow, magically, they remain separated, no wheel-to-wheel contact, which would be really unfortunate in these kind of cars. They're almost as fast as the Indy Racing League cars will be here in Phoenix later this year.
That's absolutely right, Steve. The full speed was 154.4 miles an hour, and the time was 23.3 by Randy Bauer. So these cars are really whistling around this big 1 mile oval.
Look at this, the 10 car, Troy Regier, who started outside of the front row, has brought back to 9th. In fact, now he's pushed down to 10th. There's something wrong with that car. Paul Durand right on his tail.
And that is really surprising. Of course, Regier, the Paul winner here last year, shocking to see him struggling this early on.
Well, there is Troy Regier, and he doesn't seem to be regaining any of the momentum we saw in qualifying. He's just kind of struggling back there in 10th.
Boy, the speed shot gives you a great indication just how fast these cars are coming up the front straightaway.
With all of the offset and all of the downforce of all of the wings, you can just about, if it's set up perfectly, drive one of these cars flat out around the fastest 1 mile oval in the country.
That's exactly correct, but the problem these guys are going to have right now is getting used to these cold tires, getting them up to temperature to get that traction working.
That might very well be the problem with 10 Troy Regier. Up front, 78 Randy Bauer and 11 Rebel Jackson Jr. No surprise there.
No, this should be a great dogfight between these two drivers. Rebel Sport. Oh, and we've got a huge crash, Steve. Oh, my.
Oh, that is 3C. That is Rex Beach from California. We talked about him earlier. That was the car with the Keith Black Hemi, and he got into the wall very, very hard. Car coming to rest. Emergency crews on their way. There's a good chance this will be a red flag. Let's have another look at it, Ralph.
It all starts down here in turns 1 and 2. There you see Rex on the outside trying to go around 2 cars. Let's see if there's some contact here. Looks like he turns right into the wall. That was a heavy impact right there. But watch this as the car turns, it backs right into the wall here. And that is a vicious blow. And I'll tell you what, Steve, he's lucky, if you can be lucky to crash like this, that he caught part of the tires instead of the wall itself solidly. At least those tires will take some of that impact away, and it could maybe save him.
Well, the medical personnel have Rex Beach out of the car, and obviously on the way to the hospital, we'll bring you news on his condition a little later on in the show.
There is the remains, not much of it, of Rex Beach's car. We do want to update you at this point as we get set to go back to green. Rex's condition is serious. They have stabilized him, and he's got quite a few broken bones, Steve, as you would imagine. The seriousness of that impact.
And that's got to weigh heavily on these drivers' minds as we restart here with about 21 miles to go.
And it is amazing that after watching one of their fellow competitors have such a serious incident, that these combatants can strap back in the car and go racing so quickly, so fast.
A great race with the number 2 spot there, 11, Rebel Jackson Jr. and Pat O'Bold. But sprinting out to the lead, number 78, Randy Bauer. Randy, in fact, putting some distance between himself and the pack. They can't let him get away. It's only 25 miles from the first green.
And at these speeds, boy, those 25 laps are going to tick away in a hurry. And he's running a beautiful line through 3 and 4 there, Steve. And the only thing you got to question is whether or not he's going to cook up his tires too much by running this fast of a pace.
Rebel Jackson Jr. trying to make a move on Pat O'Bold. And here it comes down on the inside. Ooh.
Pat is for certain one of the best out of the East, and that's the great thing about the race here at the Copper World, is it brings the top drivers from the East and the top super modified drivers from the West together, which doesn't happen often. But look at this outside move. What a great move by Rebel Jackson.
I think O'Bold expected him down on the inside instead of got him in the outside. So Randy Bauer out front, Rebel Jackson Jr., Pat O'Bold.
So now our top 2 cars, of course, 2 of the best from the West Coast. In fact, Rebel Jackson beat Randy Bauer in the 1996 WSMRA Super Modified season.
You know, I called this track an oval earlier, and I guess technically that's what it is, but it's got a kink coming out of turn 1 into turn 2. The fastest part of this racetrack, and it's almost a D shape right in there.
Yeah, it is kind of a unique layout for the course, but it is a really intriguing racetrack. Here's a good look at the dog leg right there. Now it sweeps back into turn 3. And then you go underneath the Goodyear Bridge right there, and you come back up out onto the front straightaway. This could be a tricky portion late afternoon going down into turn number 1. So you start taking a look at that car in second place. Rebel Jackson looking for his 3rd victory here in the super modified portion of the Copper World.
Earlier, Bob Gerald found out that Rebel Jackson has teamed up with another Copper's winner.
In 1993, Jeff Helton won the super modified portion of the Copper World Classic. Last year, he finished 4th in the number 11, but things have changed for 1997. Jeff has stepped away from driving and has put 2-time Copper World champion Rebel Jackson Jr. into the cockpit of this car. And Jeff, the questions are obvious here. Number 1, why'd you step away? And number 2, how'd you come up with Rebel as a driver?
Well, I stepped away because I want to spend some time with my family and my kids. As you know, racing takes up 100% of your time, and you don't have any time to take care of other things, you know, to take family vacations other than racing. To answer your second question, Rebel Jackson was with Dan Hayes. Dan Hayes has wanted to go to a 1-car team, so I approached Rebel and told him if Dan did want to go to a 1-car team that he could rent our car.
So now he's behind the wheel of number 11, one of only 2 cars that carries the Ford motor in the super modified division.
Running pretty good right now, Bobby, as that car sits in second place. We're working lap 13, the number 10. Troy Regier starting to fight his way back in 6th position. Making life difficult for number 1, Davey Hamilton. The 51 of Paul Durant going pretty slow. They both pass Hamilton. He's having some troubles out there, Steve.
Oh, he has to be. He's far more aggressive a driver than we're seeing out there today. There's going to be something wrong with that automobile, either the setup or in the powertrain, because he's definitely not the Davey Hamilton we have learned to know and love here at Phoenix.
Davey, of course, winning the Copper World Super Modified event 4 times. A.J. Foyt picked him up to be his IRL driver, saying that he thinks the Super Modifieds are a great training ground for IRL drivers. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a Rebel Jackson, a Pat O'Bold, somebody else making the move soon. Maybe this guy.
This guy, Randy Bauer. He is really strutting his stuff today. Randy Bauer, who qualified on the pole, has been up front throughout this entire affair. And we're down to about lap 15 or 16 now. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back with more.
You don't have to fish like a pro to win nearly $100,000 in cash and prizes in the TNN Outdoors Big Bass World Championship. Call 1-800-799-4545 now for free information on how to order your entry packet. Then, land the biggest largemouth bass in your state to win a free trip to Big Cedar Lodge near Branson, Missouri, and compete against 49 anglers for a top prize valued at nearly $100,000. Call now to enter and get a free cap and copy of Bassin Magazine in the TNN Outdoors Big Bass World Championship.
Tired of waiting hours for one priceless sports moment? Don't bellyache about it. Run over to the phone and order the all-new video collection that goes wall to wall with nothing but the most outrageous instant replays ever. The totally incredible sports collection from Global. Not 5, not even 6, but 7 unforgettable sports videos. All for one low price of just $24.95. There's no catch. Just hours of the most thrilling, the most chilling, and the just plain weirdest moments in sports history on 7 videos you won't run into anywhere else. No other collection gives you more bang for your buck. So if you like your sports over the top, then drop what you're doing, put your fingers in motion, and call now.
Call 1-800-637-4774 to get the totally incredible sports collection for you or your favorite sports fan. 7 wild videos, a more than $100 value for just $24.95 and a double your money back guarantee. Call now 1-800-637-4774.
The Rock. Some call it the North Carolina Motor Speedway. Others know it for its hard knocks. The track examines the teams and teases the machines. But at the end of the day, bows out to the victor. Live from Rockingham, it's the Busch Grand National Good Rinse Service 200. February 22nd, 1 Eastern on TNN Motorsports.
Welcome back to PIR, lap 19 of 25 for the super modified cars. Randy Bauer, number 78, started on the pole. He's still out front. But Ralph Shaheen, number 11, Rebel Jackson Jr. is coming.
And he is on a tear, Steve. Rebel Jackson Jr. out of Seattle, Washington. The Exide Batteries back to entry, which is a sign, I think, of where the super modifieds are going. Getting the big corporate sponsorship behind Rebel now. He is flying up through the field, closing in on Bauer. Look at the gap. Watch him work this traffic. Let's see how good he can get through here. This is going to be important if he wants a shot at the win.
And bad news for you Davey Hamilton fans. I happen to be one of them. He is out with mechanical problems.
Well, we wondered about the traffic. Not a problem for Rebel. He'll take 2 of them on the outside, go through 1 and 2, and Bauer has got his hands full now. Look at this move. To the bottom out of 4. Rebel goes all the way to the bottom. Steve, he touched wheels with Richie Sherrill there in the 15 car.
I have to agree. I think he did. He just grazed him. Oh, man. At these speeds, after what we already saw, it's pretty incredible.
Boy, if you're going to thread the needle with an open wheel car with this much horsepower at these speeds, you better know where you're going to put it. You better make sure there's room. Rebel is driving like a man possessed.
And with all of that offset and all of those wings, not to repeat myself, these cars are stuck so hard that if something breaks or you lose grip, you're just along for the ride, baby cakes.
Well, they turn left real well, but when you got to dodge through traffic, they don't, exactly turn right through the cones very well.
No, they don't.
This car is not going to do anything real well in a slalom course, so slicing through traffic, you better know where you're going. Boy, he is just pulling away from it, Steve.
He had to be playing positive back there, Ralph. Maybe conserving the tires a little bit, might have had a softer combat. Now he's out there just ripping them.
Rebel Jackson looking for his 3rd ever Copper World win. I guess there's nothing like experience in one of these cars at this racetrack to make the difference, because obviously Rebel knew something about the later stages of this event as the white flag comes out.
We are on the last lap. Randy Bauer is going to be a little bit stunned right now after starting on the pole, hoping that he had Rebel Jackson Jr. behind him for the rest of the day, but that didn't happen.
Well, and the bad news for Randy Bauer is this is the first race of the 97 WSMRA season, and he finished second to Rebel in that points chase last year. He's about to finish second here today in the season opener.
And there it is. Rebel Jackson Jr. has won again at the Copper World Classic in the super modified division. Well, I tell you, that new partnership worked out rather well, didn't it? Followed by Randy Bauer, Scott Backman, Troy Regier, Pat Abold. Our congratulations to the top 5. Good show all the way around. And there is Davey Hamilton's car. It's a quiet cannon now. Davey has moved over to the Silver Crown pits to get ready for that race.
And he'll be just as much of a threat, if not more, in that car as he was in this one.
It is happy time in the winner's circle for Rebel Jackson Jr. and his crew. You just can't win the Copper World Classic too much in any of the categories. It's their biggest race of the year. Bobby?
Well, last year it was Randy Bauer and Rebel Jackson. This year it is Rebel Jackson and Randy Bauer, 1-2 in that order. Rebel Jackson gets another Copper World Classic, and you got to squeeze out of that race car. Congratulations, nice job.
Oh, thanks. That was tough. Bauer was looking real fast. Saw that full straightaway. I didn't know if I was going to catch him or not. We just started reeling him in, and tell you, this Exide Helton racing car, beautiful preparation. The crew did a wonderful job. I'd like to thank all associate sponsors, Security Race Products, Buddy Job, Skull, everybody for putting on a wonderful race, and I'm happy to be back in winner's circle.
Yes, you are. Tell me about Jeff Helton's contribution now as a mechanic and a former winner of the Copper World.
Jeff is great. He's been here. He's done this enough that I get out of the car and I say, you know, it's doing this. And the crew guys are kind of looking at me kind of funny. Jeff said, I know what you're talking about. This is what it takes to fix it. So it worked out real well.
And when it comes to Copper World Classics, Rebel Jackson Jr. knows what he's talking about.
Oh, I think he's got a key to the gate by now, Bobby, here at PIR. So Rebel wins it this year. Bauer won it last year. David Reef is with Bauer.
Tell you what, you had him covered there early, it looked like.
I tell you, I thought we did, and then late there in the race, and Rebel stuck his nose under us, and made me start pushing a little hard, and we were starting to get a little loose, and you know, he just caught me at the right time in traffic, and I chased him for about 2 laps there and there, running side by side, and I was biding my time. About the time they opened up, he had a full head of steam and whew, slid in front of me, and oh well, take second.
That's not too bad considering this gentleman finished first a year ago, so he's not doing all bad.
Not bad at all. And gentlemen is the word for Randy Bauer on and off the racetrack. All in all, a very quick 25 laps, Ralph Shaheen. These cars are so darn fast, it doesn't take long.
No, it doesn't. Absolutely beautiful piece of machinery. A lot of fun to watch them. Just love strolling through the super modified pits. It is just neat looking at these great-looking race cars.
I'll tell you one thing. There are no two the same when it comes to the super modifieds. You can express yourself when there's not much of a rule book.
Well, you know, Steve, Rebel Jackson has won 5 super modified championships. He keeps racing like he did today throughout the 97 season. He'll have number 6 for the mantle as well. Stay with us. The Silver Crown cars, the other big boys in the back.